When it comes to job interviews, there are a lot of questions that can be asked, and answering those questions the right way make the difference between getting the job or not. Hey, this is Steph with the call center channel. Today I'll be talking about questions they ask in a call center interview, and I'm going to give you examples on how applicants can answer the most asked ones. There are tens of questions that recruiters may ask, but in a serious call center interview, they almost always ask those three. And here they are. Number one, can you work under pressure? Never answer this question by a simple yes or no. There are no call center jobs with no pressure. Not all call center campaigns have the same level of pressure, but they all do. So when they ask you, can you work under pressure? The answer should be a yes, followed by a story about the last job you did under a lot of pressure and how you got it done. If your answer is no, your interview may end immediately. Number two, what can you do about a very angry customer? This is the most important questions ever in any call center interview. The reason is because it's almost impossible to spend a day in a call center taking calls without having at least one angry customer. So, what can you do about it? How do you handle this situation? Here's, in my opinion, the best way to answer this question in 4 steps. First, listen to the customer till the end without interruption. Second, apologize for the situation. Third, offer a solution immediately. And lastly, make sure that the problem is resolved and that the customer is satisfied before ending the call. Notice that I only mentioned the steps without giving more details, but the interviewer may ask you to give example for each step. So be ready for that. The last most important is number three, to explain a situation where you had to go over the limit to satisfy a customer. For this third one, you need to give a little bit of story. Remember, they ask you to explain. Going over the limit to help a customer can end in a way that the company is not happy with. Because going over the limit sometimes means going over some rules. Some companies offer credit as a compensation when things go wrong, but all credit has a limit. For example, if a customer is paying $20 a month for his service, and in the last month he had some issues with the service for a couple of days, you don't just say, okay, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, let me go ahead and give you a $50 credit just because your credit limit is $50 per customer. Going over the limit can go a lot of other ways. For example, a customer is not eligible to have a technician at home for something we couldn't fix over the phone, but you allowed this as a one-time courtesy because he's been with the company for 6 years. A customer is not qualified for free shipping, but because he's been having so many issues with us in the past couple of months, you're giving free shipping as a courtesy. A customer is not qualified for payment arrangement, but the fact that if we cut her phone line, she won't get the call for the job she applied for, you give her an extra 2 weeks of service because of the history she got with us, and you know that if she gets the job, she may remain a customer. All of these mentioned, of course, may need a manager permission, but you are the one that leads those calls, not your manager. These are examples of going over the limit. What about some more personal example? You let your lunch time pass to help a customer in need. Your shift is over, but instead of asking the customer to call back or transfer the customer to someone else that's going to start all over again, you stay on the phone even if you may not get paid for the extra 20 to 30 minutes. That is also going over the limit. Well, that was to answer the three most asked questions, but there are some other questions you need to expect, not only in a call center interview, but in any other job interviews. Example, tell me about yourself. How did you hear about us? Why should we hire you, or what makes you think you're qualified for the job? Tell me about your strength and weakness. How many days you think you can miss work or be late in 6 months? When do you think you can start working? Tell me about your past experience. How do you see yourself in the company within 3 years? What motivates you to work? And a lot of other very common questions you may be asked. Well, I really hope that makes a big difference in your future interviews. Good luck. It was Steph with the Call Center Channel.